Welcome to Mission Evolution Radio Show with Gwilda Wiyaka, bringing together today's leading experts to uncover ever-deepening spiritual truths and the latest scientific developments in support of the evolution of humankind. For more information on Mission Evolution Radio with Gwilda Wiyaka, visit www.missionevolution.org. And now, here's the host of Mission Evolution, Miss Gwilda Wiyaka.
People usually focus on getting love from others. Yet, is it even possible to give or receive love without self-love? Do we know how to love ourselves? Mission Evolution Radio Show is coming to you around the world on the Voice of Canada Broadcast Network, www.vocbn.ca. With us this hour to explore the importance of self-love is Judith Costa. Judith is an unconditional love coach, self-love expert, seminar leader, writer, and speaker with a master's degree in analytical psychology, psychotherapy, and an MBA. She's a certified consultant and teacher of the Akashic Records, a Reiki Master, a past life regression therapist, and a happiness trainer. Her website, judithmcosta.com. Judith, thank you so much for joining us on Mission Evolution.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be with you today talking about this important topic.
It is an important topic. So, when did you first recognize the importance of self-love?
Well, really, I didn't know that my problem was that I didn't love myself. I didn't have any idea that other issues, physical issues, emotional issues, problems in relationships were coming from the lack of love for myself. We are not educated into this at all, not in the school and not at home. And it was much later when I became a certified coach and I started doing all my spiritual growth and all of this that I was able to put a name into what was happening. Life puts you in a corner sometimes and you have to resolve certain things. And I always have been good at self-coaching. And then I started looking for answers, and the answer was that I needed to love myself more.
Mm. So we're all on the same page. What is self-love?
Self-love is a very big concept, but to make it simple, I will say that to love yourself means to become your best friend. Self-love includes things like learning how to set up boundaries in relationships, being honest with yourself, appreciating who you are, knowing your worth, stopping judging yourself, having fun, and understanding who you are, really going deeper into knowing yourself and spending time with you alone, doing things that you like, and also taking care of yourself. A lot of people equal self-love with self-care, but it's just a little part of it. Of course, we have to take care of ourselves, but this is a much bigger concept that includes so many things, and not all of us have problems in the same areas. For some people, it's very complicated to, for example, forgive themselves for what they thought were mistakes that they made in their lives. For others, it's complicated, express their needs and desires and really find their own voice. Other people tend to self-sacrifice and they put themselves last and never first. Then it's really complicated. But one thing that I have noticed, maybe because I'm very analytical, very mental, and I tend to attract clients that are similar to me, is that we tend to be very bad with ourselves. We tend to judge ourselves. We really follow this inner critic that we have. We put ourselves down. We tell things to ourselves that we will never tell anyone else.
We do. We speak to ourselves in such a way that somebody else had hit us over the head with something. Judith, do we come with self-love and then lose it along the way, or is it something that has to be learned?
No, it's exactly as you described. when a baby arrives here to Earth, it has a very clear idea of what does it mean to love herself or himself, to be the center of the universe. We come with it. We don't understand duality. We are just one with the universe. And slowly, from 0 to 7, more or less, we start being socialized. We learn to communicate with others. And remember that we are here to belong. We want to be loved no matter what. And then with this idea, when we start having relationships, mostly with our parents, but also in the school, with our friends, but since a very young age, we receive messages about what love is about. Like, I'm not going to like you, or I'm not going to love you if you behave this way. You are a bad girl. I don't
Right.
like you when you do that.
That's
And then,
typical parenting method in this day and age. I personally, I'd rather have a good old fashioned beating than have my self esteem trashed like that. And
yeah, but
it's so
we
common.
are unaware. The problem is like you don't know what is happening. You just every message of any authority figure becomes the truth for you, and this is installed in the software of your brain. And everything that you have learned, most of the time, indicates that you have to be a different person than who you are, because the way you are is not accepted. And this is the beginning of a big problem that many of us carry for a long, long time.
Is it your basic instinct to try to please others and belong? Is that a survival instinct?
Yes, it is, because there is a part of our brain when we were living in cave and we depend on the tribe. We need to live in community because there was no food unless there was a group of people against an animal. We didn't have the weapons and all of this. The team effort, the teamwork was necessary for survival. Then you couldn't really survive if you were rejected. And there is a part of our brain that still remembers that thing.
Well, it's still true in certain ways, isn't it?
It is. That's the reason why we are born in a family, because, I mean, we are here really to learn how to love and how to be loved. And we choose certain experiences, certain people that will become our teachers, and we will be the teachers of other people. But that's the main reason, in my opinion, why we are here. Then imagine how important it is to understand from a young age that you have all the permission to be loving with yourself, that you can put yourself first because you're not going to be selfish. You are going to have more love to give it to others. And what we learn is the opposite through religious beliefs, through the indoctrination in general, our upbringing, whatever it is, we learn it, but that's more or less the message.
So, what's the difference between self-love and self-absorption? I mean, we've all seen people that are so self-absorbed they don't consider other at all.
Well, that's the difference. You just described it very well. A person that loves herself, it's easy to be with. It has a magnetic attraction. Other people don't understand what it is, but they want to be with this person, to hang out with her. Because when you know yourself, when you know that you are the source of your own love, you are not needy. You don't want to fix others. You don't want to change others. You are able to be more understanding and kind and compassionate with yourself, and you can apply this to all your relationships, and people notice that.
Is
Then,
it also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was saying that that's the most important difference. The more love you have, because you can create it, the more love you are able to put out there in your relationships. And usually what happens in relationships is that we want the other person to give us the love that we don't have.
So if we are in a state where we are loving ourselves. Everything has a frequency. So is the frequency of us being full of self-love drawing in others as well because it feels good to be around love?
Yeah, totally true. But sometimes life has weird ways to teach us things. Because I married two people that they had a very clear idea how to love themselves, maybe a little bit too much, but I needed to learn this. Then, even though the relationship not good for me, because I was expecting a different kind of love, it put me in a situation where I had to say, okay, I have to find the love within myself. Finally, I get it.
It seems like, if we're looking for love from somebody else, it's never quite a good fit, is it? Because if we're designed to love ourselves, there's no replacing that.
No, that gives you a lot of security in relationships when you really finally understand that you can create this love, that this love for yourself will support you going through any circumstance, that it's love for no reason, it's unconditional love, that no matter what happens to you, if you fail, if you succeed, if you are okay, if you are not, if things are going well in your life, it doesn't matter. You have this love for yourself that will be the energy that will help you create the life again that you want. But sometimes, as you were talking before about vibration, we don't understand that we tend to attract what we are emitting, like a radio, the same we are right now. Then if I don't love myself, I will like to be with someone else. And of course, you don't have to be perfect and love yourself so much to be in a relationship, not at all, because again, we learn through relationships. But most probably, I will attract someone or that doesn't want to be alone like me, and we will establish a relationship of, oh, that's company, that's great, because I don't want to be alone, you don't want to be alone, we are together. But maybe it's not as fulfilling as it can be. Or maybe someone is the savior and the other person is the one that is in problems. And we repeat certain patterns. I tend to attract people that they don't love themselves, they have problems, they need to be saved. But I'm very good at saving others. This is my vibration. And we establish a partnership. Then there is a moment, and this I see it very clearly working with clients, where people come to me and say, I have realized that in all my relationships, there is something in common, that it's me. I have been always there. Then there must be something I can do to change that. And usually there is a piece of self-love involved in that. Sometimes it's other things, it's complicated, but yeah.
So by loving yourself, you're kind of hitting it at ground zero rather than looking to be fulfilled from the outside.
Yes, and also there is a point where if you are satisfied with your life, if you feel complete, if you feel good,
Well, I'm sorry
it's not
to interrupt. It's unfortunately, it's about time to go into a station break.
okay.
Judith and I will return very shortly, so don't you go away. This is Mission Evolution, www.missionevolution.org.
The end has come, the night has fallen. I have reached the end of
Do you love yourself? Are you sure? With us this hour discussing self-love is Judith Costa. Her website, judithmcosta.com. Judith, how can one tell if they don't love themselves? What are the signs and symptoms?
Usually what happens is that we tend to disconnect from our feelings. We are against ourselves. We feel not good about who we are, and we don't want to feel that. It's a very uncomfortable sensation to be your enemy when the enemy is within. We stop taking care of ourselves physically, emotionally. We want to numb ourselves sometimes. It doesn't matter if it's with drinking or watching TV all the time or just buying things desperately. But we have these kind of behaviors that are not loving towards ourselves. Sometimes we are unable really to put a name on what is happening. Again, self-love is a big concept, and we don't understand. We know something is off, but we don't know exactly what is the name of it.
So you feel kind of left-footed all the time, but you don't know what's wrong?
Yeah. I mean, you feel not motivated. You prefer to watch Netflix than to do anything that is profitable or that will allow you to learn something new or grow or have fun. It's like you try to numb yourself because you don't like the reality where you are living. But sometimes people are not able to express like, oh, what I have is a problem that I'm not loving myself. They don't know how to really resolve it. They are unable to put a label that says, okay, what I'm doing is not taking care of myself, then I'm going to make a plan to do that. We are good at self-care, the basics. Yeah, we all know that we have to sleep well, we have to take care of our body, movement, go to the gym, whatever you do, and eat well. That's pretty clear. But apart of that, there are a lot of people that are confused. Like what does involve to love myself? How do I resolve this unfulfillment?
So are there kind of like tapes that go on in the back of your mind that are indicative that you're criticizing yourself, you don't love yourself?
Yeah, I think that all of us have one because the mind is designed to talk 24/7, 365 days per year. And usually what happens is that we have created a relationship with ourselves that it's not nice. Then we don't have messages in our mind saying, Judith, you are going to make it. You are so great. You were created for greatness. You are magnificent. Good for you. No. Usually this voice, this tape that runs in our head is the opposite. Who do you think you are? You are not good enough. We tend to compare ourselves with others. We feel less than. We judge ourselves very hard. We are not our cheerleader. We disempower ourselves. We look at what is not working, but we don't look at our little baby steps and successes and things that we are doing well. And this is human, but you can change the voice in your head like you change a radio station. You can do the same. If you don't like the music, tune in with something else. Add more love into this conversation. First, you have to be aware because we don't understand that we don't have to believe everything that our head says because it might not be true. It might be something that we learned 30 years ago that our parents told us.
But are
And
we
second,
conscious? Are we conscious of what we're saying to ourselves a lot of times?
yeah, sometimes we are conscious, but I was about to say that sometimes we are totally unconscious. People just know that this voice has been there all my life, but they don't understand that they can be mindful. They can be the one that is hearing the voice, but also zoom out and be an observer of the conversations that are happening in your mind. I tell my clients, like, write during a week everything that you tell yourself about yourself, and you will discover the real relationship that you have with you. Because there are people that are positive, but most of us, we are very negative.
So how can we have a better relationship with ourselves?
I will start exactly at that point. First, become aware. See really how you treat yourself. What are the choices that you make? Do you put yourself last? Do you prioritize yourself and your needs? what is your mind telling you about yourself, then there are many things that we can do if we create different categories, no, into acts of self-love related with the body, like nourishing ourselves, some sort of movement, massage, touch, smell, connecting with others, smiling. Like even a shower can be a shower of love instead of just the water running on top of our head. Then
So you
I would
mentioned
say mind and a spirit. Go ahead, please.
you mentioned that we come loving ourselves, and then it's chiseled away by our conditioning and our socialization. So, is it necessary to what you've been talking about so far is kind of like behavior modification? You change the way you think, you change the way you look at yourself. But do we also need to go back and discover the places that we've been chiseled away at our self-esteem and correct it at that point?
Yeah, sometimes we have to do that. But as a coach, I really believe that the answers are within my clients. Then we don't use that as in a therapy process. We go to the past if it's necessary to really understand something. What is the root cause of something? But what we usually do, and it's a very normal behavior for us humans, is we become a victim of our circumstances. Oh, this happened to me, and then I am this way right now because of that event. And
Kind of
what
get
I
stuck in our
teach is,
stories.
yeah, exactly. We got stuck in the story, we become a victim of the story. Then I empower people to say, okay, from now on, this is your life, you create it, how you want it to be, how it's going to look like. Don't tell me what happened. This is your past, and it should remain in the past. And it's very important, and it affected you, and we have to honor that. But let's start writing a new chapter. Then all of us, and it's well known that we can change and upgrade our brain and create new neural pathways, and the brain is plastic. Then we can teach ourselves a new way of being. Then it's not only really about changing the behavior and having good thoughts about myself. You really need a new mindset. You have to shift certain things. The same way you go to the gym to train your body, you go to the gym to train your mind and to start thinking differently. And this creates feelings, and then to be in coherence, we start acting differently towards ourselves. And it's a combination of these things. Love is a verb. It has to be demonstrated into action. It's not enough to say, oh, I love myself so much. Yeah, how? Show me how you do that. What you do for yourself.
So the words just don't get it. You have to change your behavior as well.
Yeah.
Ah. So how does self-love relate to abundance?
Well, totally, because again, the more love you have, the higher is your vibration. And when you are in this state, manifesting happens automatically to you. Sometimes we think that manifesting is going after something, but it's more an alignment. Then when you align, when you become this person that feels that I deserve this, you can receive it. Some of the problems to manifest that we have is like we don't believe that we can have those things that we want. We ask from the lack of those things. But when you love yourself, the idea is different, because you don't feel something is missing. You just opens the door for this to arrive to you.
So you're going to draw what you're resonating with, and if you're resonating with self-love, then of course you draw what you need as a person. Is that where we're going with this?
Yeah, exactly. It can be financial abundance, more friends, better health. It doesn't matter. Then self-love is really what transforms any area of your life, from the way you organize and the decisions. What are your priorities? How you really go through life, but also in terms of health is the same, because you make different choices. You take care of yourself in a different way. then health becomes more a prevention. You don't have to arrive to crisis. And the same in any other area. You have better relationships because you are more able to listen, to hold the space for others. You are more understanding. You are more compassionate and kinder with others. And all of this reverts in really every area of your life, including the finances and your career and anything you want.
So, is it useful to look at what's happening in our lives currently to ascertain where we aren't loving ourselves?
Say it again.
I was wondering, is it useful to observe what's coming to us? The kind of people we're drawing in, the kind of experiences we're drawing in, to give us an idea of whether we're loving ourselves or not.
Yeah, it's very useful. But again, you cannot do it, from a place of judging yourself. Then when people discover this resonance, this vibration, I tend to attract what I put. They think that everything that is happening is really, I'm causing it. I'm bad. This is wrong. I'm doing it wrong. And there is a lot of weight and responsibility on top of that. Then yes, there are many things that we create, that we attract, that we manifest, because it's true. The like attracts like energy. But at the same time, if you want to do this, for example, let's suppose that I'm in a relationship and I tend to have partners that are not present for me. They don't pay enough attention to me. They are always working or something like that. Then when I ask people, at that moment when you were with this, in this relationship with this partner, how was the relationship with yourself? You really were present for you? You really took care of you? You devoted time to yourself? Say, no, not at all. Then there was a combination, like really one thing was connected with the other. I was asking someone to do something that I was not doing for myself. And usually what we complain in life, it's true that it's connected with things that maybe we are not bringing to the table. But
Well,
it's not in 100%.
It's time for us to take another station break. Judith and I will be right back to continue our discussion. So please stay right there. This is Mission Evolution, www.missionevolution.org.
I've been broken, shattered, cast to the wind. I am scattered upon the wind. I've been broken, shattered, cast to the wind. I am scattered upon the wind.
Who are you, really? This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. With us discussing self-awareness is Judith Costa. Her website, judithmcosta.com. Judith, many of us are identified with our damage and patterns rather than who we really are. How does this interfere with self-love?
Yeah, we tend to see ourselves as something fixed, like this is the way I am. And let me tell you that what you think that you choose consciously is a very low percentage of what is running really your life. All these patterns of behavior or these traumatic events, all of these things that maybe we don't remember instantly, but they are stored in this part that we tend to call the unconscious. Then many of our decisions are unconscious. They are based on things that we learn, on patterns of thought or behavior that we have installed. And if we don't do an upgrade like a computer, if we don't change that, they continue affecting us. That's what we were saying before, that we get attached to our stories, no? Oh, this is what happened. And again, I had cancer, for example, but I will never say I'm a cancer survivor, because I don't feel this way. This was an experience, but it's not who I am. And every time we say I am, this is a statement and it's very powerful. Then be careful with when you say I am, what you put after. Because you don't want to really send energy in the wrong way. Then it's important to see what are the patterns of thought or behavior, because sometimes we didn't even choose those things. It's just something that other people told us. It's like a dog. When we train this dog to have certain behaviors, then when we are little, we are trained. There are things that are installed in the way we have to behave, and the same happens when we in the society, in the way we relate in your job. Then you learn things about how you should behave, who you should be to be accepted. And sometimes this provoked that we wear a mask most of the day because we don't feel safe just being ourselves, and we hide. We don't want to be seen. We don't allow our own light to shine, to be ourselves, authentically who we are. It seems so easy to say, but it's one of the most difficult things, just to be who you are.
It sounds like what you're describing is most people are living in the past, their past experience versus in the present. Is this what's going on? And if so, what impact does it have on us?
Yeah, because again, this concept of being in the present is not taught to us. It's something that in spiritual gatherings and many gurus and teachers have taught us. In the present moment is where your life is happening, in the here and now. But our mind tends to wander all the time. It moves to the past and it moves to the future. Then we are unaware that we are physically in one place, but we are never there. We are miles far away. I had an example about that it's like the train of the thoughts. It's like we are in a station, and instead of being present in the station, it comes a train, this train of the thoughts, and takes us not where we want to go, where the train is going. We don't even know what direction. But we have the ability, the choice to remain in the station and to be present. But we have to, again, awareness is the key. We have to be aware that we are not here. When we are cleaning dishes, we have to feel that we are there. We are not thinking about the next meeting that I will have tomorrow. I am there feeling the weight of the dish, the water in my hands, the soap. I am present, the same when I'm eating, the same when I am with someone. I am 100% there. And then life changes. Because again, the past may have a lot of weight, but it's gone. And the future it's not true, really. It has not been created. It's a pattern of possibilities. Yeah, what you imagine may happen, but sometimes we worry about things that will never happen to us, and we invest a lot of our lives in that, worrying.
So if a person can truly be present and start to identify all the things that keep them from being present, like being in the past or being in the future, wouldn't self-love be an automatic reaction to that?
Yeah, you will gain much more joy, that's for sure. Again, it depends on what areas of self-love you're weak, but you will add a good dose of love for yourself, because you will be more connected with yourself, with your life, with who you are in the moment. And you are not running around stressed and thinking that what is going to happen or what have happened. Then you have much more energy that gets liberated when you are present to focus on what you are doing. This is the only way to enter in this state of flow that athletes talk about, and also people that are maybe playing the piano, that they forget everything except the moment where they are. Everything becomes irrelevant. And you connect with this source of information, your intuition becomes much higher, and you are in a state of perfect happiness, but also with enhanced abilities. That's what happens when you are really able to be present present, 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 and you enter in this state of flow.
Is love always present and it's simply something we need to attune to ultimately?
Love is always present. It will never abandon. It's abandoned. It's there for you. It's waiting for you to tune in with it. What happens is that we feel very alone and isolated, and I have been there, because we are disconnected from ourselves. This love for ourselves is not there. We are not able to sustain ourselves. Sometimes we look for other people to sustain us, and no matter how much they love us, our family, our friends, our partners, they won't be able in the long term to substitute the love for ourselves.
So basically, we're not tuned to the right station.
Exactly. But we tend to equal relationships with love. Now, relationships are exchanges of love between people, and people are not perfect. They don't know how to love better, maybe. Then it's not that you don't deserve love, it's maybe that person didn't know how to give it to you. And that's not something that we really learn. We go through relationships and we feel we fail, but we never fail in relationships, because everything that you learn makes you a better colleague, partner, friend, whatever it is, for the next person you meet. That's the only way we learn. But you don't have to disconnect from your worth or feel less lovable because someone has abandoned you. Maybe the relationship has ended its purpose, or maybe you don't need to be there anymore. There is something better coming into your life. But this disconnection between love and relationships is very important to make.
Why do so many people cling to a false identity or identify with things outside of themselves, like their car and this and that? And how does this approach interfere with self-love?
No, they may feel that they have a perfect life and they love themselves a lot. And it may be true until a certain point. The problem is when, let me say, self-esteem is a part of self-love. But self-esteem, for me, it's like I like myself because of certain characteristics. Let's suppose that I'm a model and I have a perfect body, or the greatest hair, or I'm a manager and I have a great salary, a great car, a great house. But what if tomorrow I lose that? What is going to happen? Then self-esteem is just this idea, no, of liking myself because of certain things. But self-love will sustain you when you lose what you love the most, when you get older and you are not as beautiful and people don't admire you, when you maybe lose the job and you don't have all of these things, or maybe you get bankruptcy and all of this wealth is lost. Then who you are, then at that moment is when we really have to realize that we need to connect with the love for ourselves, because you are much more important than anything else. You are worthy because it's your birthright, because you exist. There is nothing you have to do to prove your worth. But again, we are not taught this. We are taught that our worth depends on our accomplishments. And people feel very worthy because they have an idea that they have arrived to a certain level of success. But again, is real success? Is this real love for yourself? Do you have this fulfillment that self-love brings into your life? Or you are just attached to certain external things that gives you a temporary happiness, but not inner joy?
And it seems like it's a huge problem living in a society that is so enamored with physical things and riches, that we would identify with those versus who we really are.
Yeah,
What
no,
are the
it's wonderful to be rich. I mean, don't misunderstand me. Money is not a problem. It's never an issue. The problem is the attachment, when it becomes your identity, as you are saying. And yes, the society that we have created tends to teach you that.
Mhm. What are the biggest misconceptions about self-love, and how can we challenge them?
Yeah, a lot of people that were born with the idea that they are important, that they are the center. They don't understand. Sometimes when I talk with my husband and I say, "No, why you talk about self-love? This is so self-centered. Like only narcissists." And say, "No, I mean, don't compare, because narcissists are not able to see anyone. Nobody else exists except them. They will manipulate and do whatever it is to be the center." What we are talking in terms of self-love is at least love yourself as much as you love others. And many people go through life loving others and not loving themselves. They sacrifice to get love. They stop being who they are to get love. And that's not the way. But the misconception is that loving yourself is selfish, and nothing is truth in this statement, because as I mentioned before, the more love you have, the more love you give. It's like if I have a tree full of apples, I can give you apples. But if I don't have them, how am I going to share them with you? Then we don't have the tree, but we keep giving apples. And there is a moment that giving and giving and giving without replenishing your own tank of love creates this sensation, and when is my turn?
You run out of apples. Well, it's time for us to take another station break. Judith and I will continue to explore the hidden powers of self-love. This is Mission Evolution, www.missionevolution.org.
Brilliant feathers of an unearthly hue glide by on the edge of his dream. A whisper of touch, an unheard song.
When and why do we stop loving ourselves? This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. We're continuing our discussion with Judith Costa. Her website, judithmcosta.com. Judith, what is the connection between self-love and setting healthy boundaries? Because my thought is, from what we've been saying, you don't need to set boundaries if you love yourself enough not to have them violated in the first place.
No, sometimes you need boundaries. Even if you love yourself, there are going to be people that don't respect them. People you love, people you want to be in a relationship with. There's a misunderstanding about boundaries, because it sounds like a wall between two people. And boundaries are useful because they are no limits. They are ways of understanding. If I know what is important for you, and you know where I come from, and we arrive to a certain agreement, I'm not going to trigger you. You're not going to get angry with me, because there's going to be a certain level of respect, because these are the rules of the game in our relationship. Sometimes relationship works so well that we don't need to have these conversations. We don't need to establish that. But sometimes even with our children, things don't go as well. And we have to say, this is unacceptable. And we put a boundary, but the boundary is not like a wall that it's there forever. It's more a virtual line that can move. And we have to constantly kind of rethink, review our boundaries with others. But there are people that they might be totally different, that we may, I don't know, meet in a retreat. And they come from a different background, even from a different culture, where things that for them are normal are not so much for us, and vice versa. Then it's important to really not be afraid of saying what you need in a relationship, and to learn how to set up boundaries, because then relationships work better. But setting up a boundary is not only saying no.
If you end up in a relationship where somebody else's boundaries are so stringent because everything everything around them triggers them, and so you suddenly find yourself violating your own space to not violate their boundaries. How can that be addressed?
Maybe there is no way of addressing if it's at such a high level as you are talking about. But for sure, it will require communication. It will require to be honest and to be able to express needs and desires, because I have worked with many people that they didn't know what they want. They didn't know how to say it. And even is when they knew what they wanted, they were unable, because maybe their society or their parents always say, no, you cannot say that. Like maybe elders go first, or women don't behave this way. Again, all these messages. Then first we have to be clear with ourselves, and then we will have to sit with this person and say, yes, I understand that this is what you want, but this is what is happening to me. This is the way I feel, and arrive to an agreement. There must be a win-win situation. But again, boundaries are not like, oh, you have to behave this way and this way and this way, and that's it. No, our boundaries can be different with different people. Again, sometimes they are not necessary. Sometimes they're really necessary for a reason. Then we have to be flexible and really, again, aware of what we need. Sometimes it's not the other person doing anything to us. The other person is just triggering a reaction in us because there is a system that gets activated. Then we have the solution for that because it's our own reaction. We are the ones that get triggered. And sometimes we blame others for things that really belong to us.
There's no replacing self-responsibility, is there?
Yeah.
So let's change gears a little bit. What is self-forgiveness and why is it important?
Self-forgiveness is a radical act of self-love. We tend to think that forgiveness is this that we have to do because maybe someone tell us, like the religion, our parents, or because we feel that to be a good person is to forgive others. But that's not the kind of forgiveness I'm talking about. Forgiveness is saying to yourself, no matter what had happened, the love for yourself is more important than any event, any wound, any trauma, anything that anyone did to you. Then you decide to set yourself free from this event or anything that happened to you, to set yourself free and move forward with your life. You are not condoning what happened, forgetting it. It, again, belongs to your story. But when you are decided that you matter, you are more important than anything else. And for this reason, you disconnect from this energy and you continue living your life in a different way, where you are not a victim, as we were saying before, of this event or relationship or wound or whatever you suffered.
So does the lack of self-forgiveness once again lock us in our past?
Totally. Because if you cannot let it go, you continue vibrationally living in the same situation. That's for sure. But also, a lot of things that happen with self-love is that we practice things that then we have to apply with others. The more you learn how to forgive yourself, the more forgiving you can be with others. Then you really carry less weight. We have like we carry huge baggage from things that had happened with others. Maybe important things, but we have to learn how to let it go. Because how are we going to be in the present if we are constantly thinking in something that happened in the past?
How can we forgive others if we can't forgive ourselves? Is that a problem there?
Yeah, because it's more or less the same, but sometimes it's easier for us, and I have seen it again and again in workshops, that people tend to be more forgiving with others than with themselves. We tend to be harder with ourselves. Like, but I shouldn't do that. Yeah, but you did it. And so what? We think that this black thing that we see in our story, like, yes, this big mistake that transformed my life. But what about the blessings that are coming? What about the unexpected, the miracles that can enter in your life tomorrow? Are you open to really see your life in a different way and open up the doors and your heart to allow love to enter in your life, to transform your life, to see yourself in a different way? And sometimes we don't make this choice. We continue living in the energy of this is what happened, and I'm the result of this divorce or this illness or this unfortunate success, or that I have lost my money, whatever it is. And we get stuck there.
So, what is the transformative power of self-forgiveness?
What I mentioned is total freedom, but with capital letters. Like when you let go of something, you can move forward with your life. Means that at a certain level, you are taking all of this energy of this important event that it's so big for you, that happened to you, that you cannot forgive. And you are releasing it into the universe, and the universe can recycle this energy. And you release this huge weight that you carry in your shoulders. And also you start looking at yourself and your life like an opportunity and not the result of what had happened.
Let's talk about judgment. Babies don't judge anything. They come in innocent and just accepting and experiencing. And somewhere along the line, there's a fly in the ointment, and we start learning how to judge good, bad, right, wrong, up, down. How does judgment interact with self-love?
Yeah, it's the opposite of self-love, because first, judgment means that something is good or something is bad. And it doesn't exist, this idea. These are just labels that we put, because if tomorrow is my wedding day and I want a sunny day, then the rain is bad. But if I am a farmer and my plants are dying and I need water, then it rains. It's a good thing that it rains. Then there is no such a thing as a reality for everyone. It all depends on our thoughts and behaviors. But it's very important to understand that when you are just in a neutral position, aware, mindfulness is looking at yourself and your life as an observer without judging it. And what we do is we are not mindful at all. We look at ourselves and our lives, and we judge it and do it again and again and again, and we are very hard. Then we cannot really change anything from that perspective. Only love gives you the strength to change. If you treat yourself as a strict parent, it might give you the motivation to go to the gym the first 10 days. Maybe you even create the habit, but it's not going to be an enjoyable experience. Then if you want to teach to your children, if you want to teach others, do it with love. And if you want to do it with yourself, the same. Then we have to learn the ability to look at everybody, but what is behind this body that I am seeing? There is a divine being, there is a soul, and there is a perfection. This human maybe is not like evolved, or it doesn't know better, whatever it is. But you can look in the third eye, in the middle of the two eyes at someone, and just don't care if it's a man or a woman, if it's black or white, if it's rich or poor. You just look what it's behind, the being that is behind, that is divine.
Before we run out of time, Judith, I need to ask you, what's your mission?
To spread love and to teach love to others, to share everything that I have discovered, because I think that love is the greatest energy that moves the universe.
That's a beautiful mission. And how do you think you can, most people don't get this. How do you think you can share that message?
The way I'm doing interviews with you. I'm a speaker as well. You have lots of workshops and information about classes and private sessions in my website. I write about it. I I created even an organization called Love, Love, and Love that has the mission to spread love around the world. And it's a big project. We don't have the time now to do that, but
Well,
I
that's
do it every everywhere I can, in
well,
every way.
well, we are out of time. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Our guest this hour has been Judith Costa. Judith is an international love coach, has a master's degree in analytical psychology and psychotherapy, and an MBA. To find out more about Judith, all she has to offer, visit her website, judithmcosta.com. This has been Mission Evolution with Gwilda Wiyaka. For more information or to enjoy past archived episodes, visit missionevolution.org. But please be sure to join us right here on the Voice of Canada Broadcast Network, VOCBNCA, where this mission will continue, bringing information, resources, and support to an evolving world.